confirming opportunities available to DMC, leveraging all the community partners, developing our goals, and then we have a project development objective as well, which is actually talking about specific projects within our DMC district. If you remember, in May, we brought forward the coalition partners, the stakeholders for the coalition, the county, the city, Rochester Area Foundation, and Mayo Clinic. An update on that I wanted you to be aware of is that they are embarking on their, what they're calling Phase 2 strategic plan. And our board is wanting to see what that plan is, what's happening with that plan, how that plan is moving forward, and how the DMC actually serves up to that plan. I think the request around the table was making sure that we aren't leading affordable housing necessarily, the strategy and the plan. Rather, we are finding our place to fit into that strategy. So 1, it's in our work plan. 2, in 2 areas, strategy and project development. And 3, we wanted to bring you an example today of just that in terms of project development, which is the affordable housing project on the Ramp 6, our creative Ramp 6 strategy. And I thought I'd have Patrick give you an update on Common Bond, which is the company that we are working for, or working with on that project.
So just to that point, first of all, acknowledge Kevin Bright from our team, who typically gives this report, who leads work from our end with respect to affordable housing, and of course our partners at the city. Just a year ago, or rather more recently than that, the city organized an RFP to develop on top of the parking ramp 6, a ramp that was recently completed, supported in part by DMC resources and engineered so that it could be developed on top of it. After a competitive process, the city selected Common Bond, which is a nonprofit Minneapolis-based, or rather St. Paul-based affordable housing developer, and an affordable housing developer that has a reputation both in the Twin Cities but in other parts of Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin as well. They were selected for their capabilities and their innovative approach in helping us address affordability. This will be high-rise construction with 127 units, studio, 1-bedroom and 2 bedrooms, and a rent structure that will accommodate people from a range of area median income from 30 to 80%, using income averaging approach. So it's a methodology that really helps get at people whose incomes are far below the area median income. Anticipated completion schedule is early 2023. You will be hearing from Common Bond in February, and likely a request of support in May as they aim towards their submittal to Minnesota Housing Finance. So you'll be hearing more about this, and there will be a request likely of this board, but not until May of this coming year, next year rather. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all we were going to say about affordable housing. We'll just pause with that.
Follow up on that one great report. Thank you. And I'm excited about the strategic planning work going on with the coalition, the transit villages work that we're talking about. The Common Bond folks are great. A lot of good capacity there. And the coalition, I had asked and talked a little bit with staff about this, but had asked about possibilities related. Actually, it's item 3 under the first objective A, confirm the statutory opportunities available to the DMC for affordable housing development. And I had been asking about, is it possible for DMC to commit any monies alongside or as part of the coalition fund, which again I think is a best practice in terms of a collaborative fund that has all the partners involved. And I had asked council to clarify whether that's a possibility.
So, please,
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to comment on that. Our statute governs where and how the DMC funds can be spent. And with respect to the state funding, it can be used for improvements and other capital costs related to public infrastructure projects. Public infrastructure projects are then a defined term, which means a project financed in part or in whole with public money in order to support Mayo's development plans as identified in the DMCC development plan. The statute lists a number of examples like acquisition, demolition, streetscape improvements, utilities, that kind of thing. So the state money has to be used for improvements and capital costs related to public infrastructure projects. When we were discussing whether a straight grant to an organization was feasible, it is hard to imagine how to call a straight grant a public infrastructure